The New York City daycare owner is now facing federal drug charges after police say a 1-year-old died from exposure to fentanyl. The owner and her tenant are also charged with murder after investigators say they found a kilo of the deadly drug stored on top of playmats at the daycare. 3 other children were exposed but are now recovering. The case comes as the DEA calls fentanyl the most urgent threat in our nation. Senior investigative reporter Aaron Katersky is in the Bronx with the latest.
The owner of Divino Nino Daycare is locked up on federal drug charges, accusing her of storing fentanyl on playmats children use to take naps.
One of the most reckless things that a human can do, to endanger the life of a child like that.
Inside the daycare, investigators say they found large quantities of fentanyl, along with machines and supplies to package it for sale.
Was this daycare meant to hide a drug operation?
So, Aaron, these drug traffickers, they don't care. They could care less about the people that they're putting in harm's way. And in this case, these babies were poisoned by the reckless, irresponsible behavior of drug traffickers.
4 children became ill after they were exposed, but the owner, Gray Mendez, allegedly called her husband twice before dialing 911. And while waiting for paramedics, prosecutors say her husband was seen carrying heavy shopping bags out a back alley.
All of that happened while the children, the babies, were suffering from the effects of fentanyl poisoning and in desperate need of help.
1-year-old Nicholas Dominici died at the hospital. 3 others were revived with the overdose reversal drug Narcan. The DEA says the case demonstrates the danger fentanyl poses to the country. It's often now mixed into other drugs, but since it's odorless and tasteless, users may never know. Fentanyl-related deaths have increased every year in the last decade. As little as 2 milligrams can be lethal, and the DEA says it seized enough just last year to kill every American.
And senior investigative reporter Aaron Katersky joins me now from the Bronx. Aaron, this daycare just passed an inspection, but inspectors say they don't check for fentanyl. So is that going to change now?
I mean, who would ever think that daycare inspectors, Diane, would have to check for the presence of fentanyl in a child care center? It's almost unthinkable. So the city health department says no, inspectors are not trained to sniff out fentanyl. But the health commissioner said the other day, maybe now they have to be, which really is a sign of the country's struggle with fentanyl. It is killing tens of thousands of Americans every single year. And if it's in a daycare, Diane, the DEA says it shows it can really be anywhere.
It does seem that way. Aaron, this has to be devastating for the parents who trusted this daycare with their own children. How are people there in the community reacting?
You can see some of the mementos left behind in memory of little Nicholas Dominici, who was just 1 year old, little shy of his 2-year birthday. We spoke to his father, who was just devastated and in tears, who said he loves his son and he wants him back. But he becomes what the DEA says is just one of tens of thousands of fentanyl victims. And thankfully, the 3 others who were poisoned are going to be okay, though 2 remain in the hospital this morning.
Now, the owner of the daycare has pleaded not guilty. Police are now searching for her husband. He was allegedly seen carrying these shopping bags out of a back alley while she was waiting for the paramedics. So what's the latest on that manhunt, and what's next in this case?
Police are confident that they are going to be able to catch the husband. And you're right, while the babies were suffering from the effects of fentanyl, prosecutors say he was carrying heavy shopping bags out a back alley from this building. So the insinuation is he was trying to cover up what was stored inside. Police are confident they're going to get him. In the meantime, Mendez and a co-conspirator who was renting a room from her in this building are both being held without bail. They face the federal drug charges. They also face murder charges here in the Bronx.
All right, Aaron Katersky there in the Bronx near the daycare center. Aaron, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.